What's good, y'all? BeatGenerals.com back with a brand new tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to be actually doing a Don Q slash A Boogie type beat. I was doing the Bryson Tiller tutorial series. I still have one more left on that, but I was just kind of feeling like I wanted to just kind of switch it up a little bit. I didn't really have the inspiration to do another kind of R&B style track. So in the meantime, to not keep you guys waiting, I just decided to drop something else. So this is A Boogie slash Don Q type track. I've been listening to a lot of Don Q lately, which is probably why I'm not in the R&B mood, because if you listen to Don Q, he's not really much of an R&B guy. But anyway, so that was kind of inspiration for this tutorial. For all my VIP members, you guys will also get all the sounds I used in this. So make sure you download that pack right now if you haven't already. And all those sounds are from packs from studiosounds.com. But since you guys are members, I'm just gonna go ahead and give those to you for free just for being members. So make sure you download that. So without further talking, let's go ahead and jump to the next section and get started on the beat. So when I initially started making this beat, the whole theme was to kind of have a more laid back, calm type verse, something that I kind of hear A Boogie singing on, and then have just a nice kind of verse that was a little bit more aggressive with hard hitting drums, something that I could just kind of hear Don Q kind of going in on. So the first sound that I started off with was this PL ambient pluck sound, and this is actually a sound that's not even out yet. It's going to be released here soon in a bank called EXO the Stars that we're releasing over at studiosounds.com. And it's actually based on the Weekend Starboy. So whenever I'm starting kind of either trap tracks or East Coast kind of influenced trap tracks, I always try to look for kind of cool little ambient high-end type sounds that I can use instead of using just a regular piano, which has been done, you know, a million times. I try to use different synths or whatever, just kind of change it up a little bit, as much as you can kind of even change up a trap beat or whatever. So this is the first sound that I started with. We're going to go ahead and set our BPM to 150. And let's go into the piano roll, and I'll show you guys what I did real quick. So what I started off with was a D sharp, like this, and then I added one note on top of it. So if you kind of look at the chord that would, well, the chord that would kind of form from this note, it would technically be this, which gives it a nice kind of, you know, melodic type sound. But I'm looking for a more kind of angry, a little bit more aggressive type sound. So instead of going for that nice kind of pretty type chord, I'm just gonna go ahead and separate it and just kind of pick a note that wouldn't technically be in that chord, like this, kind of complement it with. And then I'm gonna just do these kind of ARP style runs. So I'm gonna just take notes and go up, come back down, up, down, up, down, up. So we have something like this when it first starts. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually go ahead and hit Control and B to go ahead and copy and paste the same thing over again. But we're going to go ahead and remove the G sharp this time. And if you kind of look at this whole pattern, and I actually messed up, this should be just a regular F and then going up to the F sharp. But I'm basically just running through the scale. So nothing really difficult about this at all. You could really kind of do this without thinking much. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and just change up the velocity just kind of slightly, since this patch is velocity sensitive. Just kind of playing with the velocities can give you a cooler little sound and make it sound not quite as mechanical. And then we're going to go ahead and hit Control and B again to copy this over. Now for this little second section over here, we're going to go up to a B. So again, instead of going, you know, for the typical chord that would kind of go from the D sharp, I'm going one note higher to give it a little bit more of a sour type feel again. And then over here, we're gonna go ahead and just play the A sharp. And this is basically the entire little pattern that you hear throughout the beat that kind of everything was built on. Okay, so that sounds good. So let's go ahead and jump in the next section. We'll start layering with this. So next sound that I'm going to be using is from Massive again. It's just like a 80s electric piano, and this is from Top Shelf Volume 1. And what I'm going to do is just lay down 2 simple chords with it, and I'll show you guys the chords in a second. So let me go ahead and lay those down. So the very first chord is the chord, or kind of the chord, the whole thing that I was trying to avoid earlier with the pluck, because the pluck I want to sound more aggressive. For the chords, this is going to be used just during the hook. So for the hook, I need something a little bit more melodic. So this is going to just kind of fit in with that. So the first chord is just a D sharp, F sharp, A sharp. And then for the second chord, you keep the D sharp. You just move the top 2 notes up 1 note in your scale. So I just have a G sharp and then a B. And then when you combine these with the pluck, I have it on pattern 2. This is what it sounds like. Okay, and let's just go in here real quick. I want to just turn these up slightly, right around there, maybe 65-ish. Just to kind of give them a little bit more presence. Okay, let me just take a listen to that real quick. Okay, that sounds good to me. It has a melodic feel, but it's not kind of too pretty. It still has that gritty type edge, so it sounds good. So let's go ahead and jump to the next section, continue. So the next thing I want to add is this octave sign, just basically a nice little bass sub. And I'm going to only use this little sub as the bass line for the hook. For the verses, I'm actually going to use the 808. That's just a little bit meaner to kind of go with that more aggressive flow that I want for the verses. So for this particular sound, all we're going to do is just use 2 notes. We're just going to go from the D sharp, the root note, and then we're just going to play the second note of the second chord. So very, very simple. And when you combine it, just gives it a nice thicker feel, but it doesn't really do too much. So here's what it sounds like right now. Okay, so at that point I had that. It sounded pretty good to me, but I still felt like there was just something that needed to be in there that just should be a little bit catchier to kind of just get stuck in people's heads and just give somebody a melody to kind of play with. So let's jump in the next section. I'll show you guys the lead I layered over that. So the next thing that I wanted to add in there was a lead. So I found this lead, chilled funk in EXO the Stars actually, and it's just a cool kind of laid back type sound. So I'll just go ahead and just draw in real quick basically what I played with it. So we basically have that, and I think that sounds pretty good. It just provides a little element in there that will just kind of catch your ear. Let me just level on it. Okay, so we have that little open little intro piece. You know, artists always like to say something in the beginning. So you have that little piece, and then you have your little hook could start here, and then we'll start building the verse from here. But there's still a couple other things that we want to just add to the hook just to make it a little bit more interesting. This sounds pretty good, but we can use a couple tools just to make it slightly more interesting, just flow a little bit better.